Yo, what's up? This is Raury. You're on Pause TV. You're a lucky person. Get situated. I mean, to be at this point, like with my artistry, and just be 19, dude, it's super dope, but at the same time, it's completely terrifying. I feel like a toddler with an AK-47 or something. Like, just all my friends were just normal people, just like me in high school. We just graduated, and I just had $1 million deal, and I'm just out here doing all kinds of crazy things. So it's like, you know, there's a space of alienation between me and my just normal friends, regardless of, you know, how well they understand me or how well, how close we are. Because like, no matter what, you never understand what an artist is going through until you're an artist yourself and you are experiencing the same things. So there's a lot of alienation along with the great things that come with it. You know, like I get to travel. Like, I get to travel and see all kinds of places. I get to do music for the rest of my life. Like, it's what I love, you know? So it's all really dope. I guess my upbringing and like my sound are, I guess, two completely different things, I guess. I feel like I'm just a sponge who can just photosynthesize whatever and make it into whatever I want to make. And I was just blessed enough to be able to listen to all types of things growing up and not just be limited by the radio in my hometown. I just credit it to the fact that kids like us, we grew up with the internet and we can listen to everything. You know, like back in the 2000s, it would be more normal for a person to be, oh, I'm a hip hop person, I'm an R&B person, I'm this person. But even if I ask you right now what music do you listen to, you'd be like, oh, everything. Everybody says everything now. So times are different, and you know, because of the internet and because of me eavesdropping on my older brother, listening to all the 90s stuff, like from System of a Down to, you know, like A-Ball, MJG, all the good stuff, Linkin Park, got put onto all that. Riding around in the car with my mom, she always playing like, you know, 45-year-old woman music, you know, like I heard all the Mary J. Blige, all the Keisha Cole, Mariah Carey, all the Sade, Anita Baker, and even into like, she dabbled into the Eagles. She was a Tupac fanatic. So like when I was 8, I was like hearing all the Tupac. I looked up to him. I was one of the first artists I really look up to outside of Michael Jackson. You know, I heard Outkast and all the soulful stuff and all the little cookouts that happen down in Georgia in the South. You know, that's a really big thing in the South, just family reunions and cookouts. And like, it happens all the time. The one that has inspired me throughout my entire journey and like has made an impression on me most greatly is my folk influence. I went to a camp where I learned a lot about life, and I never looked at life the same after leaving this camp. And this is my first time stumbling across Bon Iver, you know, stumbling across Fleet Foxes, diving deeper into Bob Marley, diving deeper into Lauryn Hill, you know what I mean? And I was at that camp for a month overnight, every summer until I graduated, where I learned so many things. And yeah, like I was also learning how to play guitar at the time, so it just affected the way I play guitar and how I look at music. So yeah, that era. The main message and the feeling and the purpose that comes with this album, it all comes from just like my life story and just everywhere that I come from and what I'm aiming to give to you. Because when I was 14, like I went through a very dark era, man. I was highly depressed. I didn't like life that much. I didn't like myself that much. My aunt had just passed away. I went through a lot of things. And it was literally Cuddy's Man on the Moon album that just turned that all around, you know? Made me comfortable being in my own skin, made me comfortable with myself, made me confident enough to just say, you know what, forget this, I'm gonna do music for the rest of my life. And one album changed my life, and ever since then I always wanted to do that for other people for the rest of my life. So with that being said, this album, all we need is for that 14-year-old right now, you know, or that 19-year-old right now, or 22-year-old right now that are in this very transitional point in their lives and just somewhat lost. No matter what, even I'm still somewhat lost. You know, and when you're lost, it's so easy to just identify and find yourself making a home in that realm of, how do you say, that realm of negativity and that realm of just resentment toward the world, and just to become this dark human being, you know, that doesn't believe in love, right? doesn't fuck with this and just does drugs every night until we pass out. You know, that's all cool, but I want to put something out that helps kids like that find themselves in a lighter place, in a more place of self-belief like I did, in a place of, you know, like love for diversity, love for people, you know what I'm saying? And also, man, kids at the internet age, man, we've been seeing so many things, we've experienced so much of the same shit for the past 10 years that a lot of us are just growing increasingly numb. I don't know if you feel it, I feel it. A lot of things come out, a lot of things drop, and like I just don't feel the same excitement I would feel if shit, Michael Jackson dropped something. Somebody gotta like inspire that kind of excitement again. You know, like it's not just one person that can do that. You know, so I feel like I'm trying to give us all we need is that refreshment and that excitement from music. What's burning in this earth? I mean, we have these internet kids growing up too fast, learning all the wrong things too quickly. You know, we have pretty much everything that was prophesied in the Revelations, man, is going on right now. You know, but not even to say that I'm a highly religious person or just too into with Christianity. I believe all religions and most things are talking about the same thing. But I was raised Christian, and I mean, I feel like war, famine, people like Donald Trump going for these positions of power, and support for that reflecting in my country and things like that. Like people are thinking this way. People are synchronizing into this mind state of separation and hatred, and it could be because you were raised that way and your family is like from the South in Georgia or whatever, and like, you know, Southern pride and this is how we think, or it could be on the flip side of a black kid that just has a complete hatred for white people, you know, or Hispanics having a complete hatred for somebody else. So much separation is going on, and I just feel like, man, it's only a matter of time before like the shit hits the fan with all the shit going on. Like, Lord save this burning. First song, All We Need. That's when I first started working on the album, you know, and I worked with a lot of friends, really close friends on Kingdom Come. My friend Malik played guitar, and Adia is, if you heard God's Whisper, you know the vocal that's like, that's her. Like she plays like a lot of roles like in a lot of my music. She inspires me a lot. So she did that verse. With Big Krit, I really reached out to him, man, because, man, like Southern artists and Southern rappers, they tend to really be slept on and overlooked, you know, be it because of the accent or the honest disposition they take. But like, yo, like, I personally feel like Krit is up there with your Drakes, man, and your Kendricks, and your J. Cole. He's definitely in that conversation, and people really need to know. So I support my fellow Southern artists like that, man, that have a message too. So like the South got something to say, I had to put them in there. And also I'm a new artist, man. It's like pretty much my first year, but at the same time, getting features isn't necessarily the completely easiest thing for me because I'm new, I'm just now here. I gotta earn my stripes or whatever. And you already know like the kind of music that I make, so it's like a lot of the big guys sitting down there like, all right, this kid's a wild card. Let's just see what he's gonna do before I work with him. But these features more so came down to the people that wanted to work with me and knew what I was doing and, you know, saw eye to eye with my vision, and they loved it. You know, like RZA was a person that like, he thought the world of me, like he loved me, man. He wanted to work, and like, hey, I love the whole era from the 90s, that whole nuance. I wanted to bring that kind of energy into my album to begin with, you know. So RZA was a great touch to have on CPU. With Tom Morello, I feel like his energy and the ethos of him with Rage Against the Machine and everything they did back then in the 90s. And I'm talking about like right off the back of the just a really dark era of music as far as rock and roll went. You know, in the 80s when it was all about, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and like, you know, like harming yourself, and, you know, like the whole like Kurt Cobain thing, which is also like completely dope. But Rage Against the Machine, they came out like, no, fuck that. We're about this. We're about revolution. We're about, you know, expanding the mind. And they were about raging against the machine. And I feel like what's happening right now is history repeating itself. We went through damn near a decade and some change of, you know, extremely just like self-indulgent music about this, blah, blah, blah. and that was in hip hop. And now you have a bunch of kids like me who are coming out like, you know, fuck that, we're about this, we're about that. But it's not just me, and it's not just in music, but you know, not just in hip hop where this change is happening, but it's happening in pop and all this stuff. You have Lord out here, you know, you have Alessia Cara out there, you have Jaden, you have Willow, you have Joey Badass, you have Chance the Rapper, you have Big Mensa. Like, this is the now, you know what I'm saying? And it's a whole new leaf in music and hip hop. Very like down to earth, like natural style because of, you know, okay, the hat and, you know, the urban shoes. It looks like some really like bohemian chill shit. But at the same time, it's 2015. You know what I mean? And it's not completely rooted in that. And I will pull up in a silk yellow button-down shirt and then drop a heartbeat. I don't know. So I dress very spontaneously, and you can't really predict. I can't really predict the next thing I'll put on. But yeah. This hat is more, this is a very long story behind this hat, and it's very, something that I'm honestly not ashamed to admit. I'm completely emotionally and attached to this hat. Like, this is a part of my childhood. Like, that camp that I went to, and it changed my view of life and how I looked at music and all of that. It was, while I was out there, I wore this hat too. I wore the sun hat, and we spent, like, you go out there, and your counselors will probably be the most like hardcore, like activist college kids, like when you're 12 years old, and they be teaching you so many things about, you know, the drawbacks of capitalism, hyper-capitalism, and be showing you how to grow things, how to use a compass, how to start a fire. And at the end of your sessions, they would send you out into the wild with your group. Your first year, you're 12, they're not gonna try to kill you, so it's like 3 days. But each year it got more and more intense. And like the final one that I did, spent 2 weeks in Wyoming, out there, like a 50-mile hike. Like, you're out there, you're shitting in the woods, like you're out there. Wow. And when I came back home, man, like life, I just felt like a caveman that was like warped into the future, man. And all this shit didn't make sense, honestly. Coming back to the city and like seeing everything so perfectly designed and all the square, like concrete lines every 3 feet walking on the sidewalk. It tripped me out, honestly. And I never looked at life the same, man, because I've never experienced happiness so pure again since I was out there.